So excited to introduce you all to Natalie West, the founder of Ellie Arbee, a luxury brand that really targets executive women like all the women of legs that are looking for the masterpiece outfit that you can take from the office with you to the course. Natalie has many, many talents, and we're excited to have her as a sponsor and partner of Legs. So all of you new members get an LERV bag in your new member bag, but we really wanted to spotlight women in business, especially women in the golf industry. So, Natalie, I would love for you to tell us more about the inspiration you had behind starting the brand.
Yeah, Jillian, thank you so much for having me. And I have to say, everything that you have done with legs has been such an inspiration. And all the things that you're doing for women in business and golf in general. I am just so honored to know you and be a part of legs. So thanks again for having me today. And okay, Ellie Arvey, this is a fun story. So I was in the corporate world. And I was in San Francisco of all places where the weather is just really shifty. And I went out for a round of golf um after a business meeting, and I had just started golfing. So I had brand new clubs and I was a really terrible golfer at the time, and I just already knew I was going to get through this round very sloppily. I didn't know how I was going to get through it. Well, I went to put on my golf outfit, and the weather changed. And so it was actually the weather that started this entire endeavor of LERB. I left on my beautiful wool work pants and this beautiful blouse, and I threw my ball cap off, and I had this newsboy hat. I thought I had one here, newsboy hat, and I put it on, and I went out and golfed, and I was warm, and I felt like I was breaking all kinds of rules, and I felt beautiful. And I left that golf course and I actually did like a road trip back to Colorado. So I had a long time to think. And I just kept thinking, like, man, I love like breaking the rules, like being different and not following the norm and not doing something that everybody else is doing. But I also just, started thinking about women aren't one thing. So, like, why do we have this wardrobe that is full of all these single purpose items? And then, that led me to a examination of sustainability and man, what a waste of, we have all these clothes and we're just, so how is there a way to just get all of those things into one piece of clothing? And I have an industrial design background, and so luckily I have the education and the wherewithal to answer that question. And so I went home. The one thing I didn't have was industry experience. I had never been in the fashion industry before. So on March 5th of 2022, I Googled how to start a clothing company. And then I just surrounded myself. I asked every single person that I knew if they knew anyone in the fashion industry that I could talk to or understand the business, like pick their brain about, textiles or zippers or how it works or where to start. And it really was just from there, I just started making more and more contacts, and people are so willing to help when you have an idea and you just ask for help. Um, and so that's where I got started with LARB.
So I love everything about your brand. It just is there's so much thought into it and the design. I personally have a lot of your pieces that I do wear all the time, and I've bought as gifts as well. I love the vest. I love the onesie. I don't think you say onesie, but it seems like you have so much passion and you've just been putting your like just working so hard. What's been the biggest challenge for you growing your brand and getting the name out there?
I think the biggest challenge for me, um, well, there's a couple. I think when you start a brand, you don't really know how much it's going to cost. And have bootstrapped this entire endeavor. So I've not taken any debt. I've not taken, any friends and family money. I've not done any fundraising. I have no private equity. So um, this has been in full control, sort of on purpose. I like maintaining the control of the brand, of the styling, of the US made piece of this that most private equity firms maybe would say, hey, you need to outsource that and reduce the cost. Well, I'm not necessarily willing to waver on a couple things. So, funding it myself really allows me to maintain the control of the things that are important to me and to the brand. But there's obviously issues when it comes to having money and funding itself, and is it a sustainable business? So it's a challenging piece. But the other challenging piece is, uh, and it's funny because I get a lot of people that ask me, hey, can I talk to you about starting a brand? And I say, yeah, sure. And the first question they ask me is, okay, like, or I ask them, why do you want to start a brand? It's usually something around like, I there's just nothing out there for me, or sometimes it's I want to spend more time with my family. And then my second question is, when you start a brand, do you know that you actually have to be a salesperson?
Yeah.
I didn't know this. So I had never had experience in sales, not traditional experience. And I can honestly say that since starting this company, I could probably sell anything, but I didn't know that about myself. And it was something that I feared. Selling and being a salesperson was very scary. Um, so that was a challenge too, to overcome. Wait, I have to be a salesperson? How do I sell this? Where do I sell it? Finding a market for this. So I think those are two of the greatest challenges, which are prevalent, I think, in most businesses.
Yeah. Honestly feel like you're starting a new movement for women in golf because I do agree. Like I can look at my husband's closet and I'm a little jealous because it's all golf stuff that he can wear every single day. And a lot of women I know, they have like a separate closet almost for golf clothes that, it just and they're not very cute, where I feel like you're bringing such an elegant vibe to the golf course where like I've noticed some people are it's more casual where you don't necessarily have to wear the collar, but I feel like women want to feel sexy and confident and beautiful on the course. So I want to know, like, how do you come up with this experience, this aha moment on the golf course, to actually designing these pieces that can go in your wardrobe and be worn in different ways? Like, how did you just come up with the design?
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So I actually start with proportion. Proportion is key. We like to see ourselves in thirds, not in halves. This is why you'll never find me designing a short sleeve shirt, because what it does is actually cuts right across your breast line, and visually it's not as proportionate to our vision as a long sleeve or a cap sleeve. Then with a cap sleeve, by extending it on the shoulder, you actually force a waistline, which us ladies love. And
Yeah.
then I have some pieces, I have what I call a diamond neckline. So, what I did is I forced the collar forward in the back,
Mhm.
forcing this diamond neckline to frame the face. And so, I'm trying to emphasize the woman's beauty. So, her waistline is in forgiving fabrics, in your onesie. I call it
Yeah.
a jumpsuit. In your
Jumpsuit.
onesie, you have a built-in waistline that's forgiving. And but what it does is it visually puts a waistline on you, forces a waistline. So if you think about it, it's the proportion of thirds, it's framing the face, it's emphasizing the waistline, and then maximizing versatility and utility and mobility.
Yeah, I feel like you're probably the most flattering brand in the market, which I love. I feel like just with my body type, I have a PhD in flattery where like I have to try on the clothes and make sure it's covered. I mean, all women, we have like a little pooch that like no matter how skinny you
Mhm.
are, that we want somebody to like make it go away. And I feel like your designs do that. I also feel like so everybody gets some pearl diamond or pearl earrings with a
Yes.
purchase. Where did that idea and inspiration come from?
All the design and the inspiration really came from the classics. Audrey Hepburn, Marilyn Monroe. I love Kate Spade. I know she's not necessarily classic, but she has a lot of classic designs. Um, and with that was, Jackie. Oh, Jackie. Um, with that, just I've always worn pearls, big pearls, and for whatever reason, and I have hundreds and hundreds of pairs of earrings throughout my corporate career. I wore all kinds of big and crazy and flashy, and what I really landed on was the big pearls. I felt the most confident and the most beautiful with the pearls. And so I investigated the cost of giving these as a gift. And it was worth it to me to provide every LERB woman with a pair of pearls so that she could also feel and exude that confidence and feel empowered uh, to do whatever it is that she was about to do.
Right. Well, because you've had such a successful, interesting career path. Like tell the ladies a little bit more about your career path that brought you here, and then what advice you have for the women that may be sitting at their desk with an idea, but maybe don't have the confidence to take that first leap like you have.
Sure. So I have a really strange, very broad experience. So like I mentioned, I was a car designer. I started I was educated. My bachelor's degree is in industrial design, and I went into the car industry in 2008. In 2008, we all know what happened. The world kind of imploded, and then so did the car market and the car industry. So we all lost our jobs 3 months after getting them. I had a young child at the time, so I thought, shoot, what am I going to do? One of the skills you learn as an industrial designer is carpentry. And so now I'm a 20-year veteran carpenter, and I have that skill that I can take anywhere. So, anyway, so we get laid off, and I'm like, man, what am I going to do? Well, I went and I was a carpenter. Like, who would have thought? Out of college, I'm a carpenter. And so I really sort of honed in those skills. Then I worked at a law firm. Then I went to grad school. And I thought I was going to go into GIS. So I studied GIS and ecology. I interned at the Fish and Wildlife Service for a while. And I graduated, and they're like, nope, we don't have a job for you. So I thought, oh my gosh, what am I going to do? So sort of like 4 years of really hardship. Um, and I just took the first job I could, and it was in a capital markets office doing marketing and design stuff and office management, and who knows. And that's really where I got my first look into commercial and corporate real estate. And really, my career just sort of took off from there, to the point where I was managing Fortune 100 global real estate portfolios. And I got really good at that. What happens in corporate America when you get really good at something is then they give you people.
Yeah.
And, it's not that I didn't like managing the people, but I certainly was much better at managing the portfolio, and I enjoyed that a lot more. And so, I ended up leaving corporate America, because LERB was starting to pick up. I just said, look, I think it's time for me to move on with my entrepreneurial endeavors, and I had done things along the way. I had a floral and decor company. I was working as a carpenter on the side sometimes, so I've always sort of had something that I was doing that I'm a creator. I love to create. And so for the women out there that might be entertaining being an entrepreneur, um, I will say, if you are waiting for perfection before you start, you may never start. So just do it. Just go for it. I looked up the definition of empowerment at one point, and empowerment is just believing in your own abilities and feeling capable of making choices that shape your life. And so, if you're really passionate about who knows what, I don't know, what
A- Apparel for
apparel, yes. uh go for it. Just go for it. Google it, find people around you, talk to people, get information, ask Chat GPT, just whatever information you can possibly get. Life is about curiosity. Be curious. I think that's probably the advice I'd give is be curious. The more curious you are, the more information you can find and discover about yourself and about others. And I think maybe curiosity is the advice I would give
Yeah.
more than anything.
And I feel like curiosity goes hand in hand with being a creator, where you're just absorbing things and inspiration from all over. And so I'm curious the meaning and inspiration behind the name Ellie Arbee.
So curiosity is actually a huge part of LERB. So LERB um, is the phonetic spelling of the letters LE and RB. And LE stands for left eye, and RB stands for right brain. And it would have been great to just call it LERB, but we can't put LERB on a t-shirt.
Uh,
So I decided, and I'll tell you what LERB is in just a second, but decided to spell it out phonetically as a woman's name in honor of women. And what LERB is, it's really a way of living. Left eye stands for looking at things through a different perspective. It stands for honesty, integrity, self-acceptance. When I was little, and still to this day, when I am so happy and joyful, I laugh and smile and my left eye closes. So when I was growing up, I had all these photos of my left eye that was just closed. I have like one eye open and all these photos. And I thought, man, that I just look ridiculous until I realized that those were the times I was truly joyful. And so that's what left eye is. It's just this honest piece of self. Right brain is the creative brain, but it's also about curiosity and what we just chatted about with respect to wanting to know more, why, asking why. But it
yeah.
also is about the right brain. Who are you bringing to this meeting? Who are you bringing to the world? Your mental health. Are you in the right space, the right brain? And who does that look like for you? Um, and so LERB is that way of being. It's just a way of living, and it's a way of living honestly and with integrity and with openness and curiosity.
I think that's why legs and LERB go hand in hand because I feel that way about legs where we want women to show up as their authentic self. And I feel like the golf course provides that where we're not worried if you duff the ball or whiff the ball or hit a smashing drive down the middle of the fairway. We want you to feel comfortable with who you are and able to be who you are without having to put on a mask or, like this is who I am on my Zoom call and this is who I am at home. This like I feel like the golf course is just this big playground, for women to just be and not have to overthink it, and there's a lot of opportunities on the golf course for creativity, where it's like, okay, maybe I'm gonna try this club to get it underneath the tree and maybe I'll hit my putter from off the green instead of a wedge and just see that there's some magic that happens on the golf course. And I think I commend you for having the lady balls to just take this brand off the ground. And now, I mean, how many country clubs are you in? And you're selling online, right?
Yes. So we primarily sell wholesale with the exception of, encouraging our legs members to take advantage of their discount. Um, but yes, we're in over 20 states in over 100 clubs just after in our third year of selling. And so that's tremendous growth. And I've been so fortunate to have made wonderful connections in this industry, such as yourself, and with the ladies within legs. Wow, what a great community.
They love you. They love everything you stand for and all your pieces. And I want the ladies to be able to support you. What are you most excited for in the future, whether it's like your next line or what are you most excited for and how can ladies support you?
So, what I'm most excited about is this new on demand program that I have. And so it just further accentuates the values of the brand with American made. They're all made in Brooklyn, New York, but they are made with very, very little waste because they are knit on demand. So I'm
Mhm.
very excited about that program. Cottons, merino wools, the cashmeres, eco viscose, which is like a wood pulp blend. So natural materials. I'm really excited about that. And if they want to support, they can follow on Instagram, go to the website, definitely use the discount code for legs. Follow along on LinkedIn and go bring ladies to your legs events. The community that I have found within legs, and not even within Denver. I mean, we just formed the Denver chapter here, which is fantastic, and the women are so amazing. But my initial introduction to legs was with the Salt Lake ladies, and I love them so much. They're unbelievable. So bring your ladies to the legs events. It's just such an empowering community.
Oh, no, we love you. And you should see the Ellie Arbee booth at the PGA store with her carpentry background. It's just everything she does is so beautiful. You have a ton of taglines because I remember me and Natalie met. It was right after I tore my ACL and she was in Salt Lake. So I wasn't really mobile, but I said, hey, do you want to come over and just hang out on my porch? And she came over and hung out on the porch and I got to see her line, and now we're fast friends. And I'm just so grateful for everything that you're doing for women in the sport and making them feel confident on the course.
Well, it's style always, golf if you wish.
Yeah.
So
Oh, yeah.
that's
Tell
the
me more.
fashion. Yeah.
Style always, golf if you wish. And then you have a ton of taglines. So what are some of your taglines so people can get to know more about the humor as well or playfulness behind your brand?
So are you talking about the affirmations
The
or
affirmations, yes.
okay. So within instead of having like main labels that say LERB on them, although that like some of the pieces do, but they have an inspiration or an affirmation. So the very first one that was written was "You look great today," and so it's actually on LERB golf balls. I don't know if you can see. It's probably backwards. It says "You look great
Oh,
today,"
oh, I love
um, and so, from you look great today to celebrate all that you are to um, bold is your superpower. Uh, Bold looks great on you. Um, and then on our bags, we've expanded the lines or they're not necessarily affirmations, but they're just little taglines. They're like little cute sayings.
you
So
say
yeah,
like your mission in life is right now?
I have this saying. It is design, create, smile, repeat.
I love it.
And I had that on the back of my floral company t-shirts.
I like that. I'm gonna write that down. Design.
Design, create, smile, repeat.
I love that.
And I think that just comes from my creative, just
Drive.
exuding. I just love to create.
Yeah,
And that's where I'm happiest. It's where I'm most alive. And so I don't know that that's my mission per se, but it certainly is what drives me.
I love that. Um, Last few questions. Was there a moment where you realize this is what I'm meant to do, like outside of like the moment that you started the brand, but was there a defining moment that you can smile about and realize you've made an impact or this is what I'm supposed to do?
One of the best moments, and they're starting to happen more and more and more, is when the women that are buying my clothes are truly living the brand.
Mm,
So they are out walking their dog in one of my pieces and they send me a picture. And then later in the day, they are playing around, playing nine holes with their friends, wearing their dress. And then they are having dinner with their husband and they send me a photo of their entire day. And they're truly living the brand. That's the aha moment for me.
yeah. I feel like I've never gotten more compliments than when I'm wearing one of your pieces, and the jumpsuit I was able to wear up until 5 months pregnant. So that can tell you how flattering it actually is. And I was so sad when I could no longer zip it up, but it's so well made. Even when it was tight, it felt that kind of what you said, where you're looking at all the different body types and really you can buy this piece and I have worn it like you said like every single day because I love it and I love the colors. Was there any kind of like inspiration behind the colors? And you have gloves, you have like a statement design, like a floral piece, right? Like is there some meaning behind that?
Yeah, so my signature print is this it's like I call it the leaf pattern and
Yeah.
it's on the gloves. It's sort of like our Burberry, our my version of Burberry. And my designer, the one that did all of my branding, she did such a beautiful job. Shout out to Rachel. She created this leaf print, um, just made it up. It's not necessarily anything. It's not a plant that exists. She just drew it. And you you won't find it anywhere. You won't find it in nature. It's just something that she made up. Um, so that's where it came from. And I remember opening the design package and like scrolling down. I was in tears. I mean, she captured my brand and everything I was trying to do with the logo. And I scrolled down to this leaf pattern and I just was like totally dumbfounded at how beautiful it was. The coolest thing about it is it goes with everything.
Yeah.
I mean, it just goes with everything. So I do like to put it as like a little pop of lining or like on the glove or in some of the signature pieces. Um, you were asking just a second ago, I'm going to switch gears. You just asked if there's inspiration um, behind the pieces. I don't know if this is where you're going, but I did want to tell you the jumpsuit or the onesie, as you call it. It was inspired by one of the strongest characters of fiction that we have, in my opinion, and that is Rey of Star Wars. She takes this just her journey and everything. She just is this really, really interesting and powerful character. And I'm sorry to nerd out about it a little bit, but um, I looked at the styling and the costuming that they made for her, and that's where I designed the diamond neckline because she's got all this really beautiful face framing uh, costumes. And if you look at how she's wearing things, she's got this sash that cuts her in thirds. She's got this beautiful, like diagonal structure going up here. So a lot of the pieces are structurally diagonal for Ellie Arbee. And that's why you have that framing, the diagonal. But she also just is a warrior. And so the jumpsuit and subsequently the romper have that warrior-esque silhouette, and it was modeled after Ray. She also has a three-quarter pant, and so that's why the jumpsuit is a three-quarter pant.
Which is great. If you're short or you're tall, I feel like it works out for any size. And
Yep.
and I love the warrior. inspiration because I feel like all women are warriors in their lives. You know, I mean, you're right. Women are dynamic and they are doing so much every day and they deserve to be celebrated on and off the course. So I love that your focus is strong women, making them feel even stronger.
Absolutely.
So yeah, what differentiates Ellie Arbee from other golf brands in the industry?
So first, I'd say that we're made in the U.S. So that's a big deal to me. The cut and sew factory that I use is in Southern California, and my knitter is in New York. So that's a huge differentiator. The second differentiator is the sustainability. Half of our fabrics and processes are either sustainable or no waste. So our footprint is so, so tiny compared to most brands. The other thing is that we do things in small batches. So I don't make more pieces than I have to because I don't want them to be wasted. Along the sustainability lines, they are quality pieces. They're not something that you're just going to throw away. They're long lasting. I had a woman email me and say, "This is the best made piece since my wedding dress." So they're very high quality. So there's limited need, unless you want all colorways, to buy, the same piece or a similar piece over and over again. It's meant to have longevity in your wardrobe. um, on that same vein, it's meant to have longevity and versatility. So something like the jumpsuit, you can pair up, you can pair down, you can wear golfing, you can wear it to a nice dinner, you can wear it to work. You can pair with heels, you can put a blazer. I mean, there's so many options for one single piece. So having that sustainable piece built into the fabrication, the manufacturing, in the whole life cycle of the piece is really a differentiator for LERB.
I love that. Yeah. And I just watched a documentary on microplastics, and a part of it was the apparel industry and what fabrics they're using and just the sustain. So I love that you're thinking of that in that way because a lot of brands are just taking the shortcut where you're really thinking like I think how they used to, where you buy stuff not to just get rid of it in a year, but to have it for, I mean, as long as I can fit into it. I'm
Right.
wearing in the winter, I'm wearing that vest all the time. In the summer, I'm wearing the jumpsuit all the time. And so I really think that what you've done is creating a movement both in fashion, apparel, sustainability, and just for what women can aspire to look like on the golf course, Like not just, hey, I'm in my sport apparel, like I'm in something beautiful that I can also swing in.
How fun is it to wear a jumpsuit that you feel beautiful in and throw on, you get a little chilly and you put on a stretch fur jacket and you have a little newsboy? I mean, it's so fun to feel beautiful on the golf course instead of uh, like something you'd wear to the gym or or whatever. So I really aspire for women, and you made a point earlier. I didn't know that I was trying to change an entire culture when I got into this. I just thought, oh, everyone will get it. Nope. I'm trying to
Well,
change a culture of women to go, you can wear a piece all day. You can look beautiful and functional in performance fabrics in a cool piece that's elegant and sophisticated and classically sexy on a golf course and feel like $1,000,000. And you don't even have to change your clothes. You just bring a change of shoes.
yeah, which women love because it's like we don't have enough room in the cart basket for all of our work clothes and all the things and the just the hassle of like having to come to the legs event, go to the bathroom, change, come back out. I mean, it's like time saving even.
Well, and not to mention the decision fatigue, right? There's so
Right.
many decisions we're making in a day. Like, let's remove one of those. Put on
Right.
one piece, throw a pair of golf, keep your golf shoes in your golf bag and just go.
Yeah, you're good to go. I
You're
love
good to
it.
go.
Good to go. And beautiful, beautiful at that.
That's right.
Well,
That's right.
Well, thank you for taking the time to talk more about Ellie Arbee. I just want the whole world to know how amazing your brand is and how amazing you are. And we're just so grateful to have you be a supporter of legs. And ladies, run, don't walk. Go to elliearbee.com. Use the legs discount code Legs Rocks to get 20% off. And you will not be disappointed in the quality and just the beautiful line that LERB stands for.